welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something that really affects all of us, the influence of the people we spend our time with.
It's a huge topic.
Absolutely. And have you ever stopped to really think about how much the folks around you shape who you are, what you think, what you even achieve?
Probably not consciously most of the time.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack the sources you sent over, pull out the key ideas, the practical takeaways about sticking with positive people. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's fascinating here right at the start is this core idea from the sources that, well, nothing happens by itself. It really emphasizes that our own efforts, our exertions are crucial, and choosing our associations, that's a big exertion.
A very active choice then.
Definitely. And there's that wisdom from Proverbs 27 too, isn't there? A mirror reflects a man's face.
But what he's really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses.
Yeah, that's powerful.
It really sets the stage.
It does. And speaking of real life, let's talk about Mike's story from the sources. It paints a really clear picture.
Okay.
So, in high school, Mike hung out with these guys who basically just liked to sit on the front porch and watch cars go by.
Not exactly ambitious.
Not at all. He said they had no goals and no dreams, and they were just always negative. Anytime he had an idea, it was shot down. Stupid, not cool,
Classic peer pressure, sounds like.
Totally. But then college happened. He still met negative people, sure, but he also found positive people who wanted to learn, who wanted to achieve things.
And he made a conscious decision there.
He did. He chose to spend his time with those people.
And the impact, the sources say it was pretty immediate.
Almost instant. He started feeling better about himself, got a great attitude, started actually setting goals.
That's a significant shift.
Huge.
Yeah.
And now he's running his own successful video production company, has a wonderful family, accomplishing his goals one by one.
That's fantastic. But what about the old high school friends?
Well, that's the kicker. Mike says they still live in the same neighborhood. They're still negative, and they're still doing nothing with their lives.
Wow. That's stark.
Isn't it? And Mike's reflection is just, I'd never be where I am now if I kept hanging out with those guys. I'd still be at the corner deli playing pinball.
It really makes you stop and think. This raises an important question. How has this principle been molding and shaping your life? You, the listener.
Exactly. And it reminds me of something universal, how parents worry, Remember how they always wanted to know who you're hanging out with?
Oh, absolutely. They wanted names, addresses, the whole deal sometimes.
Why, though? What was the underlying reason the sources mentioned?
Well, they just knew, didn't they? They knew we'd be greatly influenced, that we'd pick up some of their habits.
And probably end up doing the same thing.
Exactly. They understood that influence, even if they didn't call it that. And if you're a parent now, you're likely doing the same thing, keeping an eye out.
It's true. So this influence, the sources use some specific terms for the kinds of people involved, right?
They do. We see this a lot in self-help and psychology now. Toxic people and nourishing people.
Okay, let's break down toxic.
The definition is pretty blunt. Poisonous. It highlights how these individuals continually spew their verbal poison.
Not a pleasant image.
No, they're the ones always dwelling on the negative, trying to drag you down to their level, constantly hammering away at all of the things you can't do, everything that's impossible.
Sounds exhausting.
It is. They'll hit you with the lousy economy, their personal problems, the problems they think you're about to have, the terrible prospects for the future.
And maybe a few aches and pains thrown in.
Oh, definitely. They often throw in a few words about their aches and pains, too.
Right. And the feeling after you've been around someone like that, the sources describe it as feeling listless and drained.
Precisely. Like they were physically taking energy from you. It's a very real sensation for many people.
Les Brown calls them dream killers. That really resonates.
It does. And Jack Canfield calls them energy vampires. Also very fitting. Here's where it gets really interesting. Comparing them to the other type.
Okay, so if that's toxic, what are nourishing people like?
Well, nourishing means to promote the growth of. So these are the opposite. They're positive and supportive.
The kind of people you want to be around.
Exactly. They lift your spirits. They're a joy to be around. They have this positive energy that lights up a room.
And the effect on you.
You feel energized and inspired. You start to pick up their attitude, feel that added strength to vigorously pursue your own goals.
The sources mentioned someone specific, didn't they? John Lisicich.
Yes. Described as the most positive person you could ever meet. The author rated himself a 9.5 out of 10 on positivity.
Pretty high.
Right. But he says John is a 14, just off the charts. Apparently, John inspires people to greatness and makes the author feel like he can conquer the world.
Wow, that's the kind of influence you want. So how does this actually work? How does our mind absorb all this?
Well, the source uses a great analogy.
The silly songs on the radio one.
That's the one. You hear some, ridiculous song, you think it's terrible.
Happens all the time.
Right. But you hear it again and again. It's on the charts, it's everywhere, maybe several times a day for a week.
And then?
Then you're at home doing whatever, and suddenly you're humming it or singing it, even though you still think it's a horrible song.
Huh. Guilty as charged.
We all are. And the lesson is key. Whatever you hear over and over will be at the forefront of your consciousness. Our minds don't really filter good messages from bad ones in that sense.
So if we hear negativity constantly,
We tend to believe it and act upon it. Same for positivity.
which connects directly to smoky sponge theory, I imagine.
Perfectly. Glenn Smokey Stover, quite the positive dynamo, especially considering he worked 45 years in the cemetery and funeral home industry.
Wow, yeah, that's remarkable.
Isn't it? His theory is simple. Humans are like sponges. We just soak up whatever people around us are saying.
Good or bad?
Good or bad. Spend time with negative people, you sponge up the negatives, and it affects our attitude. Hang around positive people.
You soak up the positive, feel better, perform better.
Exactly. It's straightforward, but really profound when you think about it.
So Smokey didn't just theorize, he lived this.
Yeah.
What did he actually do about negative people?
He was very direct. His approach. I get away from that person as soon as I can.
No messing around.
None. He'd say something polite like, "Gosh, it's been good to see you, Charlie," and I move on to another person. Simple as that.
And he mentioned something about friends, too.
Yeah, he said he never had a friend who was negative. Not for very long. He set clear boundaries.
Which leads us nicely into managing these relationships more strategically. The sources say evaluating friendships is crucial.
Absolutely crucial, even long-term ones, because they have such a significant impact on your most priceless possession, your mind.
That's a strong statement. Your mind.
It is. And if you realize you're surrounded by negative friends, the suggestion is pretty clear. Consider spending much less time with these people, or even no time at all with them.
Okay, but what about the argument that maybe we should help our negative friends, not just, dump them?
That's a common feeling, right? But the author's finding was, well, pretty stark. In most cases, hanging around these negative friends doesn't help them, and it doesn't help you either.
Why not?
Because apparently, most negative people don't want to change. They just want someone to listen to their tales of woe. They aren't looking for solutions, just an audience.
That's a tough realization.
It is, and it prompts self-reflection. If you
Yeah.
consistently choose to be around negative friends, you have to ask, why am I choosing this? Maybe consciously or unconsciously, you're choosing to hold yourself back.
It's not about judging them as people, though.
Not at all. It's about understanding the consequences for your own happiness and your own success. That's the focus.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about family? That's often the trickiest area, right?
Right.
The touchy issue of toxic relatives.
Definitely touchy. The advice isn't to cut ties completely. Family ties are precious, and we should try to maintain harmony. But you need to put some controls in place. Reduce their negative impact.
Oh,
And
like practical limits.
Exactly. Don't go out of your way to call them on the phone several times each day if you know they're going to put you down or criticize your every move. What's the point?
Right. Limit the exposure
Oh, okay.
and maybe try to steer the conversation.
Yes, that's the diplomatic tactic. Instead of accusing them, just gently shift the conversation to a more positive topic when things turn negative.
Got it. Okay, so friends, family. What about the workplace? We often don't have a choice who we work with.
True, interaction is sometimes unavoidable. But you still don't have to go out of your way to spend time with these prophets of gloom and doom.
So that negative coworker you always have lunch with.
Maybe stop having lunch with them. Find a diplomatic way of distancing yourself. They're just filling your head with negativity right before you need to be productive.
What are the alternatives?
Simple things. Eat at your desk. Take a client out to lunch. Sit at a different table in the cafeteria. Whatever it takes to make lunch a more positive break.
And there are real career implications here too, aren't there?
Huge ones. Positive people are welcomed in any organization. Negative people, they're actively hurting their chances for advancement. If we connect this to the bigger picture, attitude matters immensely.
The source even mentioned a seminar title.
Yeah, get this. A full-day seminar entitled How to Legally Fire Employees with Attitude Problems.
Wow. That says it all, really.
It really does drive home that in business, attitude is everything.
Okay, so bringing this all together, it really circles back to that old saying, doesn't it? Tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are.
It's classic wisdom for a reason.
So if you, listening, are serious about your goals, getting that raise, succeeding in business, just improving yourself, the message is clear.
You have to start associating with people who can take you to the next level.
And the benefits are huge. Feeling better about yourself, having more energy, becoming more positive yourself, the kind of person others want to be around.
Absolutely. And the author's own perspective shifted over time, didn't it? From seeing it as just important,
Just seeing it as essential.
essential if you want to be a high achiever and a happy individual. That's a strong conviction.
It really is.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to mull over. It's not just who is in your circle, but think about the specific energies, positive or draining, that you're allowing into your life each day, consciously or unconsciously. How might just a small but consistent shift in those daily interactions really amplify your own aspirations? What could that unlock for you?